I feel like we actually all know how to get motivated. It is everywhere you go. YouTube, podcasts, ebooks, anything. You will know how to get motivated if you type in the internet how to get motivated. But I feel like I've been given so many answers to a question where the question is actually not really giving us what we need. I feel like the real question should be, how do we stay consistent consistently? Because we all know how to get motivated. And then eventually it all kind of goes a little bit wrong. We stop. And then we start again. And it's really good. And we get motivated again. We're ready. We're in routine. And then it stops again. Square one. And then it starts again. And we're back. And then it stops. And then it starts again. We're feeling good. And then it stops. People, this is not a lifestyle we can get used to. Things need to change. Yes, my people, I hope we're all blessed, and today I've got a different kind of video for you guys, and the reason being, is because I feel like a lot of people get the two words, motivation and being consistent, so confused. You see, a lot of people know how to get motivated. Like, you know that if you set goals, it's going to motivate you to reach them because you're visualizing what you actually want to get to. However, the sticky situation, which I feel like a lot of people get a little bit confused about, is how to actually stay consistent. How do you actually set a goal and consistently stick to it without hitting a brick wall, which I feel like a lot of people do. Like myself, I used to do it all the time. Like, being consistent for me was something I really struggled with. Getting motivated, waking up on a Monday, like, that's no issue. Everyone, I feel like, can wake up on a Monday and go, yo, let's get it. Let's do what we got to do. However, it's the stages after that which I feel like a lot of people get stuck with, and that is staying consistent. So today, I'm showing you people and telling you people how to stay consistent consistently. Alright, so people, number one is going to be all about balance. Balance, balance, and balance. If you follow me on Instagram, like, you'll see that, like, I am all about balance. Like, you'll see me put the work in. Then it'll come to Sunday and I'm like, yo, sticky toffee pudding with custard. I don't care. And the point is that I do care. I care a lot, like, in terms of maintaining a physique, maintaining a mindset. I care so much that I allow myself to have balance. And people are like, how does that work? If you care so much, like, why are you wanting to have sticky toffee pudding? Why are you wanting to have a chocolate bar? And that's because I know if I don't do these things and I implement these things that I do actually enjoy in my life, if I don't do that, I will crash and I will burn and I will just go completely the other way. When all in fact is that I can actually implement the things into my life that I enjoy, whether that's sweet treats, whether that's watching movies, I can do that stuff still. I just need to ensure that I can afford to do that with the work I'm putting in to allow myself to balance. Do you know what? I know it is so cliche, but in my eyes, cliche just means very, very true. But when people say everything in moderation is okay, it's absolute fact, because if you don't allow them things in moderation, they're not going to come in moderation. They're going to come in a massive load, like a massive pile of one thing. I'm sure everyone can relate a time where you've hustled, and it's come to the point and you've actually, like, cracked and just, like, completely gone the other way, but that's because you've not allowed for balance. So point number one is all about balance. Allow yourself balance, and the way that you can allow yourself balance the right way is by scheduling it in. I'm not saying, like, have a diary, this is my balance days. It's not like that, but for me personally, I allow my balance on a Sunday afternoon, for example, and that's where I like to wind down. I don't think about training, I don't think about work, I probably get some dessert out, I treat myself, because you should be able to treat yourself. If you work hard enough, and that's the key, you need to work hard enough to allow for balance, then you get the enjoyment of balancing things into your life. Alright, so that's point number one. On to point number two. Alright, so point number two is going to be all about erasing all limitations on yourself and beliefs on yourself. And the simplest way that I can explain it is, like, everyone subconsciously puts up an invisible shield against himself. And you're not going to go through that invisible shield because your head's like, no, I've never entered that zone. Like, I've never achieved that. So I'm gonna get close to it. When I get close to it, I'm gonna probably come a little bit far back. See, it works the same with consistency. Like, being consistent is a skill, and sometimes you might master a skill on something, but when you don't master a skill on something and you do it for the first time, that's the first time you're allowing yourself to enter that zone of a new achievement. And it's quite hard to enter the zone of a new achievement, not because you physically can't or mentally can't. It's because you're setting barriers for yourself subconsciously without you even thinking about it. So the actions that you're taking, as you get closer to doing them, you're kind of like, oh, actually, I've never been here before. So you subconsciously shy away from it and you take little steps back. So you have to literally eliminate every single belief you have against yourself. Because you see, if you're limiting yourself in what you think you can do, then you're just not gonna get there anyway. And one of the hard things which I feel like a lot of people struggle with is consistency. And when you're on the path to do something, you get in there, and you've never got there before, your brain might start saying to yourself, you've never got there before, so why do you feel like you should get there? And that's where you need to say, shut up, leave it. You can get there, you can do what you want to do, it's just all about the belief you have in yourself. So all negative limitations that you feel about yourself, all the beliefs you have about yourself, about not being able to stay consistent, not being able to get to that end goal, cut them out, because I tell you what, you will never get there if you believe you will never get there. And that's the thing with consistency. It's not necessarily about even getting there. It's about staying there. It's about staying in the direction. Direction is absolutely everything, and I'm talking with passion now, my face even getting red. But when I say direction is everything, I mean, like, with consistency, it's not about speed and then you get to the goal. It's about just consistently going in the right direction, and then along the journey you achieve things, you get things, and that's the key to consistency. Understanding that it's a journey, it's not a race. So that is point number 2 wrapped up. All limitations of belief, scrap them, you don't need them, and that is how we are going to stay in the right direction. On to point number 3. So point number 3 is all about enjoying the journey, and I feel like I love podcasts, I love books, I love everything motivational. However, the one thing that I feel like is lacked when I listen to podcasts, etc., is I don't hear a lot of enjoy in the journey. And when I say enjoying the journey in relation to staying consistent, how are you gonna stay consistent in something you really don't like? And that's me just being honest. Like, I understand, yeah, that things are good for you, they're beneficial for you. However, you might not like them, and you're not weird for thinking that. Like, training, exercise, I love it. It's good for me, it's beneficial. However, for you, training, exercise is still good for you, but it doesn't mean you have to like it. So you need to find ways to enjoy in the journey. It's just like reading. I don't love reading, I'm learning to love it, but now I'm finding ways to actually enjoy it so I can actually stay consistent in it. Why? Because why would I carry on being consistent in something that I genuinely don't have any enjoyment from? So find ways to enjoy the journey, get creative with it. For example, if it is training, maybe you're not just doing the right type of training, and then after a while you're falling off. Why? Because you don't like it. As I keep saying, you're not going to carry on doing something you don't like. That is literally like insane, and that doesn't make you weird, even if it's something which is good for you. So enjoying the journey should all be about implementing things into your lifestyle which corresponds with the thing you're trying to be consistent with, that you actually enjoy. That is the gist of it. I just want you to know, yeah, that it's not weird to hate something that is good for you. Like, it's perfectly normal. You're your own person, and I feel like that's what a lot of self-help books and motivational things that I listen to kind of don't tell you enough. Like, they're like, oh no, like, you should be waking up at 4 a.m. to train because it's good for you. You should be reading 3 hours a day because it's good for you. No, obviously not. I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. Yeah, it's sick for me, good for my mindset. Cold shower, really good physiologically. However, I hate it. I don't like cold showers, alright? To being honest with you, I'm the first influencer that don't like cold showers or that actually admits it. See, your boy's lying out there. But I'm sure you actually get it, people, so just find ways to enjoy the journey. Alright, point number 4. You probably heard 21 times is the 21-day rule. And you know what, like, a lot of things I often hear, like the 21-day rule or other kind of like techniques to stay motivated or consistent, I usually turn a blind eye to and I go, yeah, might be true, might not be, like, but with this, I actually have tried it myself, and usually after 3 weeks, if you are sticking to something and you're being consistent in it every single day, then after 21 days, it should adapt to be a habit. And the way that I describe habits for me is by subconsciously doing them without thinking about it, and subconsciously kind of means to just not think and just have it as like an automated response. For example, let's say I wanted to train every single morning at 7 a.m. and like after 3 days, yeah, I'm really grinding up. I'm like, shit. It's 6:37, 20 minutes to go to train, I'm slugging out of bed. On day 9, I'm like, 7 a.m, let's go, let's get it, come on, I'm doing my thing. But on day 21, yeah, or after 3 weeks, after 4 weeks, whatever works for you, it kind of should be, you should just be getting up, you should be just doing your thing in routine. It kind of feels almost natural. as natural as it is training at that time. Like I do training at that time, and I think it actually is a full-on habit for me now because I have been doing it for a long time. But sticking it for 21 days is for me a really, really good way of staying consistently, purely because not just after 21 days it gets easier, but when I work with numbers, I work a lot better, I work a lot more strategically, I'm gonna say, because I know that if I get to that number, okay, things should be flowing. And subconsciously, when I get to that number, I'm probably just gonna make it a habit anyway, because that's just what I believe. But for me, numbers are just a really good motivator in general, because you can kind of like see where you're at. Am I this far in? Am I this far in? So, the 21-day rule is something that you should 100% be trying to stay consistently. To stay consistently. I think that's a good title, you know. Like I just said it naturally there, and I think that's a really good title of this video. I'm quite proud of myself. Alright, anyway, enough about that. On to the final point. Alright, so the final point is all gonna be about focus, and focus is just such a broad term, yeah. But when I say focus, I kind of mean like, do focus on the end result in some way. Like when I stay consistent, obviously the way I stay consistent is by just enjoying the journey, embracing the journey. However, like when you are focusing on what you want to get to, then believe me, like the motivation is different to stay consistent, especially if you've already been putting in the work to get to where you want to get to. So the way you can focus is loads of ways. You can set goals, you can do affirmations, you can do vision boards. There's so many ways. However, like you need to make sure that you pick a way which works for you. There's no point having a vision board, if you wake up, you look at it and it does nothing for you. There's no reason to set goals if you're setting goals and you don't really look at them. Like pick a way and actually invest time into making it work. Because if you just create something to look at that's meant to inspire you and you don't really look at it, you don't really invest your emotions into it, then it's not going to do anything. Essentially, it's like writing something and throwing it in the bin. Like you've done it and now it's worthless because you're not really looking at it. So focus is going to be absolutely everything in staying consistent, and that is all 5 points of how to stay consistently wrapped up. So people, just a little roundup, and some final words, like in terms of staying consistent for me, it's something which I really did struggle with, and I was so good at working 100 miles an hour, like grinding hard, like on my hands and knees, rolling through mud, doing all that shit, but do you know what? I've gone to realize that you haven't got to do that, to get to where you want to get to. And when you realize that and you actually accept that you're meant to enjoy life on the way to getting to where you want to get to, things work way better. Why? Because you're enjoying the journey. That's one of the big points that I said. Like you're allowing yourself and accepting that you're meant to enjoy the journey, and not accepting that to get to where you want to get to, you have to cut everything out you enjoy in life. It's okay to enjoy things which aren't great for you. And that's something that once you say it to yourself, it sounds so weird, but it's so true. Like, be willing to accept that. Be willing to accept yourself as well. Like, don't think that, oh, you like chocolate, you're a bad person. No, you're not a bad person. Chocolate's great, especially dairy milk. But like I'm saying, like, once you accept things and you're able to embrace things and you're able to implement balance and you're able to implement ways to actually just give yourself a way to stay on that thing without putting yourself through the mud and the dirt, then that's the way to stay consistent. Alright? But people, I'ma love you and leave you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop me one of them thumbs up, drop me a comment. I love to hear your feedback. It means a lot to me. Peace, maintain the vibes. Let's get it, and on to the next video.